So Monster Hunter Wilds has been released for about a week now, and there's a few things that we need to talk about. This is going to be my first unscripted video. I'm probably just going to be hunting a couple of monsters while talking about the issues with the game. So first things first, I'm going to get the obvious one out of the way. The optimization for this game is horrible. I don't even know how they allowed this game to be released in this manner. So for reference, I'm playing with a 4070 Super and I have a Ryzen 5 7600X. In some areas, my FPS dropped to even a lower bound of like 40. And I don't consider my computer to be, the best computer of all time, but I think it's pretty safe to say that my PC is a decently higher end system when compared to most PCs. And so for the FPS to ever drop that low is kind of insane, especially when the game doesn't look good enough to warrant it being that low. I'm currently Hunter rank 22, so not the highest, but pretty decent into the game for how long it's been out. I've played around maybe 16 hours. I've been the entire main scenario quests, and I've seen most of the zone this game has to offer, I think, and yeah, the game does not run well in any standard at all. Now, when talking about the graphics as well, because it's not like this game looks super amazing. Now, don't get me wrong, the game looks good, it looks decent, but comparing this game to their previous installment, which was World just straight up looks better. So I don't understand how they can release a game 7 years after World, because World was released in 2018, I think, and have the game run so much worse, yet look look worse than World as well. It's kind of insane. For reference on what I mean, I'll put World and Wild side by side while editing so you can see what I mean. I think the main issue with Wild's graphics is that in some parts of cutscenes or even just the world in general, it becomes blurry. There's like a shitty effect over the background, the characters, and I don't know what it is or why they decided to make that a thing. It might be the upscaling, so I've heard from reading stuff online, but I'm not too sure. But I mean, anyway, the game doesn't look as good as World, and it doesn't run nearly as good as World either. I'll see if I can pull up any clips I had while playing through the game that showcases like the blurry background and the characters and whatnot. But even now, like, some of the textures in the background just seem blurry, if you know what I mean. I'll also show my settings so you can see what I'm playing on, but it's mostly just high settings with a bit of tweaked stuff. This game sucks. Okay, now that the optimization and graphics are out of the way, the story sucks as well. It's just not really that engaging. I have no reason to care about any of the characters apart from the fact that they tell me that I should care. And I feel like a lot of the story just ended up being used as like a narrative or plot device to introduce new monsters. And I understand this is Monster Hunter, you don't need the best story because the gameplay itself is terrific. But like, why even attempt to have a decent story then? Nata as a character is not very likable in my opinion. I didn't really like Nata at all. And I'm not saying that World's story is any better, because World's story sucked as well. But this is just kind of disappointing. In conjunction with the shitty story, there's also the problem of the auto move in this game. Okay, the auto move in this game during the MSQ, or main scenario quest rather, is so annoying. It's like you develop this whole world for us to explore and enjoy, but then in the story quests we can't actually enjoy them because the game just makes us walk a certain way. every time I wanted to go off and explore or collect this ingredient, my character's just forced to walk towards the NPCs. And these scenes are so shitty as well, you know? You just follow your NPCs for like 5 minutes straight while they're talking at like a snail's pace. It takes so long for them to actually move from area to area. I mean, like here, you know, I was talking about graphics before and I know I moved on, but even here, you can see how the spider webs in the distance are kind of, they're not pixelated exactly, but they have this sort of meshy look to them, which I don't know why that is. Like this piece of rock as well. Now the next thing I wanted to talk about, I guess, goes hand in hand with the optimization, but it's, I'll call it a different problem, is that the game crashes a lot on PC. And this hasn't really been a problem for me on like the first 2 to 3 days of release. But the past day, I've been trying to boot the game, and every time I boot the game, it takes at least like 9 tries for the game to actually boot, and every time it just opens with a crash report. I don't know how that's still acceptable in 2025. But yeah. I'm trying to think of other stuff that's wrong with the game because I had a whole list of them, but it's kind of hardest to talk when you don't jot them all down. Oh, yeah, that's right, the multiplayer system. This game's multiplayer system is really bad. Every time I try to join the lobby, it comes up with this error code that I'll show on screen. It's really horrible. I don't know how is it in 2025 we still can't join our friends' lobbies. Like, it's crazy. Also, the other thing, trying to do multiplayer quests is a pain in the ass. They still have the world system of you need to watch the cutscene first before joining the other people. Oh, I switched to the wrong weapon. You know, I think one of the big strengths from Monster Hunter is that you can play with your friends and hunt with your friends, because it is a multiplayer game. But if you're gonna make it this hard to play with my friends, it's such a waste of a good pro that the game has. I'm not gonna talk about how the weapons changed either, because I think, I mean, for some people it's gonna feel better, for some people it's not. Me personally, I don't really like how my weapon changed, but you know, that's all good. It's not the worst thing in the world. It kind of just means that I have to relearn my weapon because, god, charge blade got so much doing shit. Now I'm saying this video isn't really a video to dissuade you or convince anyone to not buy the game. I think the game's still really fun. But it's just some things that I feel like should be expected in games that release in 2025 aren't exactly there. And it's a shame because I think Wild is going to be Monster Hunter's, you know, it's going to be the biggest game in the Monster Hunter franchise. Like, it's going to have the most players by far. And so to mess up a release like this with shitty optimization, decent but like not that great graphics, bad story, and really just not that much freedom in exploring the world, is such a shame.